Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Overtime Champions live stream. Today we will be having, once again, Team Making Plays and Team Pantheon facing off in a Masters to about Plat Season 4 matchup. I am the No Hype Caster, and with me today is the one and only Bryce. Say hi, Bryce.
How are you doing today? I'm excited for this game.
So I have seen Making Plays that they actually do live up to their name.
You know, maybe they're well enough to break down the Pantheon that they've set up high above the rest of us mortals through this match. But I am excited nonetheless. Haven't had the pleasure of casting either of these teams yet. So, you know, there's a first for everything.
Exactly. Now, let's see. Let's give them a little hero roster rundown. Ooh, we're gonna see Juka on that Widow. Is this gonna be the caster? Yep. There you go. That's he gets us every time. So we have Blue on the Diva, Juka running up with that Reinhardt, Hot Sauce. My man Hot Sauce on that Moira. And with the heals, we have the Lucio too. Bob once again on that Doomfist. We've seen him before. He runs a pretty mean Doomfist. And here we have the Almighty Pause. Looks like Jeff did not like what we just said.
10 seconds into the match, that has to be a new record at this point.
We should just have a Overtime Champions record book.
It just appears that Quick Sadiq had a quick disconnect ready, but it seems we're back into it. And as we're getting ready to push the point, just 10 seconds or 20 seconds left until the point unlocks. The teams are kind of just poking at each other though.
And he's actually going to be playing on the Zenyatta. They're also going to be running I think Pantheon's going to be running a more dive comp, seeing as how they have both the Diva and the Winston combined with Spin on the Pharah and Prime on Tracer. It's pretty divey if you ask me.
We put a lot of pressure on Quick Sadiq to keep the healers up if they're going to be running that pharmacy throughout this fight. Whenever Clutch goes down early in the fight.
Looks like 9 sucks on the Mercy actually goes down too. I am seeing more blue on the point than there is red, so pretty sure it's gonna go in favor of Team Making Plays.
Does look like that, and you know that was a really risky res from 9socks, and you know, if she was able to get that off, it really could have turned the tide of the battle there. But not much to be able to be capitalized upon there, and they were forced off the point there.
Ooh, looks like we might be able to do another pause because someone messed up the kill feed. There is no kill feed right now. Alright, we're gonna see Prime actually jumping on the Moira. Backing off immediately. Bob, nope, does not manage to get Prime.
Ooh, and that A-wall, every time just manages to shut them down.
Ooh, there goes the Farmers. The Farmers combo going right off, taking off 3 of them in the process. That is a sweet triple kill for Stin right there.
Ooh. We do see Stin dropping that justice from above, dropping Hot Sauce out of that Moira was really crucial for them to win that point. And now we see them getting ready, holding pretty far ahead. So Diva Bomb comes in,
and no, it does not manage to get anyone. Except he overshot it.
Just a bit, but
down goes the Reinhardt.
Oh, and that's a bad.
Yeah,
that is going to push that Making Plays back to their spawn.
All the way back to their spawn. We're gonna see a spawn camp right now. Ooh.
Oh, but Bob's not having that.
Yep, Bob goes down as well to I don't know who, but he does manage to go down. He's just staggering, Making Plays even more.
Bit of a stagger on both sides, but Making Plays did have the spawn advantage, so they're going to be able to get set up more, as Never Clutch is going to have to run back to point. But we do see Prime with the pulse spawn. Maybe he can get something to capitalize with. Ooh, nothing though.
He does manage to deal some nice damage to that chair right there. You really showed that chair what's up. Oh, out comes all the healer ults. Actually, how many healer ults do you actually need for this?
all the healing ults and never clutch. He must have too much HP for even.
And he goes down. Unfortunately, out comes the Justice from above. He managed to take out a Mayor right there. That's a crucial pick. Here goes the D.Va self-destruct. Ooh, and it does manage to get, I believe that's Doom. That's a double kill. That's a big kill for making plays.
Oh, it's only Quick City to contest the point with 2 tanks. Not gonna be able to do much.
Nope. And he gets taken out. Staggered.
That's gonna force a static. Or sorry, that is going to force a stagger. Not a static. So the points back
we
in
have
Juka's hands.
We have Juka in the corner actually doing the tactical crouch. She does not want to get headshotted today.
I'm not seeing much of a comp change up on either side. Only ult on the field right now is Meteor Strike and self-destruct. Ooh, but never clutch.
Bob goes up into space with a meteor shower. He comes striking back down. He got anyone do that? Yeah, no.
It's a zoning ult, as we like to call them.
And then there goes, speaking of zoning ults, the D.Va self-destruct is another zoning ult. Ooh, that's a big shot. Goes down. 2 of them get taken out. There's only one singular D.Va right on the point. And they have to deal with the Prime there on the Tracer, but she gets smacked in the face with Juka's hammer. Will they be able to hold it? No. Oh, out comes Justice, but Blue
brought the umbrella.
Yeah.
Oh, never clutch. Just not able to get on the point at the last second.
Yeah, as Bob takes the giant fist to his face.
And that was
in favor of team making plays.
It was a really strong push by making plays to get that point back from Pantheon's side.
Yeah, it's
even
like
though
they were pushed back quite a bit. Personally, for me, I would have just given up hope at that point.
But they were staggered for a bit, but they did manage. They had the spawn advantage, and once they knocked Never Clutch out of the fight, that was really good ult by Bob to be able to knock Never Clutch out of the fight, leaving them down a main tank. And once they were down, Pantheon was really unable to respond to it.
Steamrolled them right through.
But now we see Prime off of the Tracer and onto the Widowmaker. This is can be a good map for Widow if you get her in a good place with some sight lines.
Yeah, we're about to see some Pine action.
I'm hoping.
No, pause.
And we have a disconnect.
Someone
unfortunately. Oh, and that is Nyan Socks. Ooh. That is always bad.
Jeff is watching over this game today. Where is he? Well, let's check the roster. Is he here?
Is he hiding among one of them?
One of them, Jeff.
Having a healer disconnect this early into a fight, especially Mercy, that's gonna put Pantheon in a bad spot.
And since most of the team is already on the point, she has to come back from spawn. I don't think anybody would go back and give her a little piggyback.
It would fall down to either Stin or Starla. You don't really want that Winston diving back and forth. You want him up on that right up against that Ryan contesting that. It's kind of odd to see Pantheon running a dive comp against making plays, even though they're not really running that Brigida. They are running a Doomfist, which can operate the same way. But you do see Funk Shaz not on the Mercy per se, running the Lucio, which is definitely a popular pick with Moira if you're running the dreaded quad tank comp that we've seen a lot this season. But again, Skywave on the May.
I do have to say that I think what's got making plays going for them is that it is. I'm not too sure if that's like a meta comp, but what they have going for them is that flexibility. They're not really a dive, but they're not really deathball. They to each their own hero can really shine and show off their skills and really make the play.
No pun intended. But a lot of times,
Yeah,
what you see
no
with
pun intended.
with a Reinhardt is a Zarya who can build up her charge while working together and be in that sort of brawl area. But with a Diva and the Doomfist, that both those heroes are really mobile and really able to kind of flank around the side, while you have Mei who's able to shut down dive
Yeah,
in her own way,
to wall them off, freeze.
especially with her
very specific people.
exactly with her more recent her buff to allow that extra freeze. And it always warms my heart to see an off meta pick, but now we see the points open up and Pantheon's kind of just poking them until they can get Nine Socks into the fight.
Nine Socks has, as we just seen just before, he came back pretty quickly. I think Farrah came back and gave him a big attack. Now we're gonna see them right on the point. Bob, oh, they managed to take out two team making plays, and out goes Justice already. Oh, he built that out real quick. That's a team wipe. First, the first two, and then I think the barrage took out like 3 or 4 of them all at once.
And just look at Pantheon. Half its team already is on fire. Non-Socks almost has her Valkyrie. And Quick City almost has the trans.
Looks like just used the ult. The
infrared definitely.
Ooh, we're gonna see Doomfist Bob actually make it onto the point real nice and fast. He's gonna slam the ground. Ooh, we're not gonna see Prime actually hitting any of the shots. Will she connect the shots? Nope. Still missing. Yep. Yeah. No, you just Prime. Prime is not with you right now.
Prime did get that pick on Skywave though, so that was a nice pick. That Mei's really good at stalling the point, dropping a wall down to protect yourself, and then the icicle on herself to regenerate that health.
Yeah, but I think what making plays here is they're having some trouble getting back onto the point. Oop, I think right about now they will make it back onto the point.
They do have 6 ults.
They do, so there's literally nothing you can go wrong. Literally just do everything all at once. Unless you have a Zen ult, that'll literally protect everybody. No one will die.
5 ults.
They used all their ults. Nobody has gone down. That is a lot of value wasted right there.
That is poor economy.
There goes Justice once again and taking 2 of them. That's a nice double kill. Scoring a lot of value for Team Pantheon. But it looks like they'll be going down faster than they can really kill. Yeah.
You're saying that it was
made the play to get on the point.
It really came down to the fights between players, less of their ults. Pantheon really only needed to respond with 1 ult, and then that just gave Stin the opportunity to build up his barrage. And once he got that, then it turned the tide. But making plays was able to last that attrition.
Even though Stin did get 2 people down, making plays, they just killed Pantheons, the rest of Stin's team, faster than they would die. So the point ultimately went to team making plays. But as we saw there, another shadow taking out Bob as well. Ryan also goes down. Not looking too good for making plays, but they do manage to push off. Blue with the zoning ult. They're gonna be going up pretty quick. Oh, out comes the Mei freeze. It managed to freeze most of them. Starlight is now disabled. There goes a self-destruct. Does not manage to get anyone. Oops. He also gets pinned and D-next once again. Wow.
And Nine Socks already knocked out.
Ooh, there goes another barrage from above. I think that took out like what, 2 people? Really helping.
Wow. And making plays, holding the point strong.
To be
Prime
honest,
almost with the
I
dead eye.
did not expect them to keep it. Making plays, they were getting the kills that they needed, but they weren't. I don't think they were doing it fast enough.
No, but you know, that last fight, it came down to really Funkshaz's sound barrier is really what kept their team alive throughout that push. But we do see Juko almost the Earth Shatter. Really the only ult that they have in their bank other than a Meteor Strike, so they're probably looking to combo that.
Oh, Prime uses High Noon. Deadeye, nope, he does not get anyone. Now they'll push it into overtime. Who will be the overtime champions of this round? Oh, Bob gets denied. There goes the Earth Shatter. That was fat and wide. Oh, he charges in, but Bob does not make it out alive. He's leaving his team all alone without a shield. That is a 3v2. Down goes the Moira. Ooh, ooh. No, May does not make it out alive. And the point goes to 95% to go. And another great pause.
One can only hope that it's not another disconnect, unfortunately.
Oh, disconnect.
That is unfortunate.
You know what? 5v6.
Yeah, she is in a lucky situation because she did just switch that Lucio. Pantheon has the point in their possession. If she can get in right around when Starlight gets in, that speed boost will really help get that off tank onto the field. And it really only comes down to Pantheon just holding that battle until they can get one of their supports and their off tank into the fight, because they do have Primal Rage, they almost have Justice, while the only real ult that Making Plays has in their bank is just going to be Sound Barrier with Blue with that, again, that zoning ult.
Self-destruct.
Right.
But I have seen him pull through with the clutch. He does manage to get those triple kills.
Reducing on both sides.
Back.
Alright.
Oh no. The ult does reset every time. And he does
Luckily,
disconnect.
she was only she only got about 2% on her Lucio, and I think she just switched off of the off of the Mercy onto the Lucio. They definitely are trying to run a quicker comp, more mobile.
Just all of them just to get on that point as fast as they can during what little time they have during overtime. There goes Blue zoning ult once again. Oh, out goes both ults actually. I think that was a very smart idea, because you can zone first, then you can do Lucio speed. Even though it is a couple milliseconds, it will help a lot. Down goes Pantheon right there. Oh
my. Unfortunate, really.
OTC now.
We might.
Well, either way, it doesn't look like Pantheon is going to be getting on that point anytime soon. Making Plays has that point on lockdown, and it's in overtime. I do not see a single Pantheon player
on the point. It doesn't look like it, but
they're nowhere near it. Making Plays eradicated them from the point.
You know, you said that the alts were kind of staggered in sort of a weird position, but again, Funkshaz with that sound barrier gave his team sort of the confidence that they needed to be a little more aggressive. You know, you have that extra shield in the bank, plus hot sauce on the Moira.
A lot of health.
With that, you know, the healing orb and her left click just gives you the ability to heal through a lot of damage, especially since really the only person that you need to look out for on Pantheon's side is Stin flying above, but Blue has had him zeroed in. You don't really need a hit scan if you have a diva who can, you know, separate herself from the fight and, you know, focus on that Pharah, especially since she's not being pocketed by a pharmacy. She's really stuck with sticking to health kits or having to go back down to the rest of her team, but Nonsox is back in the fight. Don't think that they're going to have the time.
I really don't think it's going to make much of a difference here.
Seems like Stin is the only one who's even remotely close. You can see through the outline of the wall just next to the bridge. It's going to come down to this next few seconds on overtime. The clock is ticking down.
Clutch it. The clock ticks down, and he does not. Nobody makes it onto the point. Victory goes to Making Plays.
Ooh, and Quixotic just barely got on the point after the timer, but first map goes to
Making
plays. Never clutch on this Winston. A very aggressive Winston on Pantheon side. You know, they were running dive throughout almost this entire match.
Yeah, and it looks like it has worked for them.
Definitely.
Oh, okay, well, not for Pantheon, but for team making plays.
Exactly. But you know, the fights that they won and that they dedicated, the ults that they needed to, the Primal Rage definitely came in clutch for Never Clutch. Gave them the ability to kind of split up making plays, because that's really what won them the match. Even though they had a lot of mobile players, they had the D.Va, the Doomfist, you know, two heroes that can really just fly around the map sort of uncontested as long as there's no one to sort of fight that. With the Lucio and the Moira, those are two healers that you really have to be kind of close together with. You have to be inside that Lucio, that aura for, you know, either the speed boost or the healing. And the Moira, you know, her left click only goes so far. So it really...
It has been shrunken from before.
Definitely, but you know...
It has been shrunken, yeah.
Making plays is definitely capitalizing on that, the ability to do that. They're playing around Juka on that Reinhardt. That shield is really, really important, especially with Skywave on that Mei. And again, we're seeing 9 subbed out for Insanity. Definitely a smart pick for Pantheon. As unlucky as it can be to have a disconnect mid-fight.
They did have it like 3 times.
Exactly, 3.
Really puts them at a disadvantage.
3 in one game is, you know, it's a big hit to your, especially with a healer that, you know, a Valk or a Sound Barrier is honestly the difference between winning and losing a fight. And again, we're seeing Intense Derp being subbed in on making play side.
I think what really helps making plays is like, I think what also helped is Skywave on that Mei, the wall. Definitely. And the freezes.
And like I was saying earlier,
so fast. And I keep
those off meta picks definitely throw a lot of teams who are either dedicated to the current meta or you know, we see Pantheon running sort of a mixed dive. It definitely, having a hero like a Mei or, you know, even a Bastion at, you know, some points, sometimes some maps, can really throw your team through a loop, and, you know, you might end up running your head into a wall trying to counter that. You know, in my opinion, running dive into Mei isn't necessarily the smartest choice, because, you know, the second that one of your main tanks or your off tank is frozen, all the team has to do is focus on that. There's no shield blocking that damage. There's no defense matrix that D.Va can put up. She can't boost out of there. Winston can't jump back out of there. So it really comes down to making plays, just keeping Skywave alive on that Mei. That Ice Wall, you know, like you were saying, a perfect utility. It blocked Prime's Deadeye right on that point, which could have won Pantheon the game.
Yeah, it's a very key tool.
Exactly. It seems
and
like
there's very little heroes can do to counter Mei's freeze.
Exactly.
It's not like how a Genji can deflect any projectile. You can't deflect that.
As cool as it would be to see Genji somehow deflecting Frost back on a Mei, it definitely was an important pick on making play side. But we do see on map 2, we're going Escort on Route 66.
I think what's not, I want to say not really helping, but I think Bob on the Doomfist isn't helping as much, because Pantheon is running a dive comp. There's nothing really for you to bust through. They're already all scattered and moving everywhere.
Yeah, like it is definitely an interesting pick. We do see making plays sort of running, you know, especially at the skill level that they're at. They're able to be a little more free with the heroes that they're picking, as long as they're able to sort of work together with the rest of their team, synergize with, you know, off meta picks like we've been talking about all game already. They're not. I mean, again, Bob on a hitmaker, or sorry, on a hit scan probably would have been is a smarter choice, especially with Stin on that Pharah. You know, the amount of you know, justices that Stin was raining from above. It's a surprise that Making Plays didn't think to bring an umbrella.
Yeah, and looks like we're gonna be traveling right straight to the map of Route 66. Actually, we're gonna have Prime on once again on that Widow. Let's see if we'll be able to connect the shots this time around. And we'll see Bob on the nope, not Doomfist. Bastion winning that good old pirate ship.
If you could define
They're actually
this
defending.
game, yeah, if you could define this game with one word, it would be off meta. You know, you're seeing, you know, Skywave still on the Mei, Juka on the Orisa, which, you know, smart pick with running a Bastion. But again, a Bastion on defense. You know, you see this sort of, you know, sort of commonly we see Making Plays sneaking around, trying to.
Ooh, I don't think they got caught seen. They're all doing the tactical crouch. They will not be seen now. They're practically invisible to the naked eye.
Inconspicuous. And we're seeing Pantheon still running dives, so it's really going to come down to if they can counter Bob on that Bastion, because they're going to be playing around it on Making Play side.
Ooh, and Stin gets shut down as he tried to make the play on the Bastion. I don't think they'll be able to get out of spawn now. Yep, they're still in spawn.
And they're holding very far
up.
up.
This strat is a darn genius. Oh, they're gonna be backing off real soon. They made their play. They're going out. Ice wall. They're running. Yep.
Pantheon out of spawn finally. But now we see them pushing up, holding again very aggressive defense on Making Play side.
Yep. Oh, Farah goes down again. Oh man, I don't think Stin is having a very nice time right about now. Going down again and again.
Oh, Bob!
Oh no, Bob is just now getting barraged with rockets, but Bob managed to take out the Winston, the Diva, the Mercy. They're just taking everyone out. The Omnic duo.
Already with the tank configuration, with the Maywall to get him up into position. They hear that Widowmaker, but they're not going to be able to push too far on it.
I think that was they stole that strat from YouTube right there. Boosted Bastion. Top level strat. I think
I might be seeing this on YouTube. Top 10 Overwatch strats that shouldn't work, but do.
There's one.
We're seeing Infrared and Barrage on Pantheon side, so they're gonna need to work with those ults together to try and get.
Ooh, looks like Stin's about to get countered real hard. Nope. Blue Baxter out.
Oh, Blue just barely getting out of that with 5 HP.
Ooh, there goes the Justice. That is a big old triple kill. Takes down both the Omnic duo and Lucio.
Taking down.
Push this even further. That is 4 down for team Making Plays.
You know, it seems like Pantheon's the team making plays now.
Oh. Yep, that is a team wipe.
So it seems like they're not going to be able to. Oh, looks like they are going to just barely get this last bit of defense in if they can get Bob set up with that tank configuration.
Oh, Blue out with the ult. Will he get anyone? Nope, it zones them right off the point. Out comes the tank configuration. Will he be able to manage to get Stin? Stin goes down. Prime also goes down as well. That is 2 key DPSs. Both those heroes can output a lot of DPS, but since they're down, who else is gonna do that DPS? No one else. So problem solved.
You know,
So life lesson: if there's ever a problem in your life, kill it.
just shoot your problems away.
Yeah, just shoot them away. And if you want, go into freaking tank mode and blast them away.
You know, and again, we've been talking about off meta. You know, we're seeing them hold high ground, but again, off meta, running a hog into a Bastion. If you can't get through that shield, you really need to switch to, you know, a Winston who can be mobile. We do see Valk being popped on Pantheon side to start this fight off, and Justice.
Down goes Justice, but he also manages to get taken out. But it did take out the Omnic duo. Stin and Juka both get revived. There goes the Mayfreeze. Get anyone? Nope.
Quick sneak with
Not really.
Trans.
Down goes the May. Last one to go down. It's like Intense Derp actually also goes down as well. Orisa goes down to Prime.
We see Bob switching to the Doomfist now.
Yeah, he's had enough of this Bastion.
Seems like they were trying to hold this point, you know, for the last 30 seconds, but just couldn't get the picks that they needed. But we see only Valk and a Diva Bomb on the field almost have infrared. So
We're gonna see infrared actually come up. Oh, never clutch actually on that Diva. Yeah, it does have the self-destruct. There goes the fight.
Couldn't know which teams can build their ults and combo together. We see making plays sort of. Oh, the Battle Mercy from Intense Derp.
Takes out Prime.
No res for you, says Bob.
Bob, nice to face punch. Nice right in the face. Down goes the Diva actually.
Blue was
Really
unable to
trying to
get
clutch
out
it.
of that.
Ooh, Intense Derp also managed to take out Barrow somehow.
Intense Derp is really I think she's going for the Battle Mercy award up in this battle.
He may be a healer, but I think at heart he's a really DPS.
Oh yeah.
Sanity actually going for the res on Prime.
You know, this definitely does leave them down a utility for this fight, though. But it'll be worth it if Prime can get the pick.
Ooh, down goes the barrage, actually taking out two of them. A Kia, a Blue with the tank, and Intense Derp actually also goes down as well. There goes the freeze. Managed to hold them off just long enough. Intensity gets smacked to the back of the head with a hammer.
Prime not letting Shockwave bully the rest of his supports around, but Starla knocked out. We're seeing Pantheon switching to
boops off Starla.
Ooh, we're seeing Pantheon switching to a brawl combo, ready to take the fight to making plays. No one really contesting Prime and Stin. Oh, I spoke too soon.
Blue takes out Prime. I don't think that was by his bomb. I think Baby Diva took her out.
I think so. We're seeing an Earthshatter on making play side, but they're holding the high ground on Pantheon, so they're not going to be able to really capitalize on that until they get to the point.
Looks like Starla is really trying to push over to the point. Oh, never clutch actually charges in, does not get a pin. Neither does Juka. Ooh, makes it onto the point. Loses mech though.
Oh.
Stin actually comes out with the Justice from above and takes out and serves Justice right on a hot plate to take out Skywave and Blue.
Just a few meters between them. It seems like they're gonna crash the point. Ooh, with the sound barrier.
I think that sound barrier is really gonna let them take it right now.
There goes the
Earthshatter.
Oh.
Both tanks are stunned.
Oh, Insanity with the res.
Ooh, that res. That res will really save him right there.
Especially with that a Zen with his trans being res is a game changer right there. But
yeah,
Blue's cleaning up.
Pushing him right off the point.
That is round one.
Just barely making it to the second point.
They were mere meters away from getting to that next point.
It was literally arm distance.
Making plays just was not having that. It's gonna be interesting to see what interesting to see what comp they go with going into this. You know, you might be seeing a pirate ship, because we're not seeing too much of a. We are seeing Pantheon sort of switching up their comp. They switched off of the interesting diva hog, 2 off tanks that can work together pretty well, but definitely not against a bastion.
I believe
or and a Mei.
Pantheon's defending. Yep.
Yes. So we're seeing them run sort of a prime on the soldier. Definitely an interesting
like,
pick. The amount of shields that are popular in this meta.
It's Torbjorn. He's ready to throw.
Juka trading his Reinhardt hammer in for the little handheld one.
Hey,
trying to save his back.
It's the size that doesn't matter. It's how you use it.
But we're seeing Skywave on the Brigida. Definitely a smart pick, especially since they've been, sort of going against Starla on that diva. That shield bash is really just one of the worst things that can be hit.
Shut down a lot of things at once. I believe you can shut down like whoever's in your path. Let it be like 2 or 3 people. Mm-hmm. It'll stop them.
Especially with that wide arc of that rocket flail, but we're not seeing Blue picking. Okay, here we go. We're seeing him on the.
He's that one-trick diva they have.
Hey, nothing wrong with being a one-trick diva. I'm just saying.
I believe Jeff doesn't condone it, no?
I mean, what Jeff doesn't know won't hurt him. But we're seeing Pantheon sort of holding, passively up on that high ground. Bob back on the bastion.
He's just gonna be sitting right on point. No, he's actually not on point. Wow.
It's being sort of making plays trouble if they're not able to set up. They're gonna have trouble with that bastion in recon mode.
Ooh, Bob takes out Stin again. But I do believe the diva is just now dead.
Insanity. Juka unable to get that last little bit of damage on Insanity.
Bob, they're gonna hold it right there. They're gonna be moving up, changing into his turret form, and clearing the entire path for his team. Wow, pretty effective if you ask me.
Definitely, Insane Derps making sure that her bastion's fully healed and fully damage boosted. She just got her Valk.
Looks like both main tank and Insanity is down. Yeah, that's some great picks for our team, making plays, making it a really easy push.
Stin with only 8 HP was no match for Diva in her mech. They're gonna push right through this point. Just under 5 minutes to get this point. Juka knocking Starlet down at the end of that fight. They're really pushing through. Pantheon's sort of unable to really communicate on where they're holding and if they're gonna keep pushing. Seems like they're sort of split between the high ground and the low ground. Yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see how they want to hold this.
Skywave is actually gonna be pushing up with the. Oh, he's gonna be hiding. He does. Skywave finds the Reinhardt, stuns him, holding him off. Blue finds the high ground. He's gonna be countering that Pharah pretty hard.
Oh,
but no, Insanity is gonna be Valking. Here comes the old confusion. We'll break it down for you. There goes Soldier's visor sight. Stin actually out the Pharah barrage. Stin was not managed to take out anyone because Funkchaz does have the Zen ult on them. Starla's gonna get taken out real quick. And making plays will be pushing on right through.
What was crucial for that point was Blue was right in Pantheon's backline, really harassing Insanity on her on the
Ooh, down goes the Reinhardt.
Mercy.
Bob taking out Stin again. I think that's like the 4th or 3rd time.
Insane Derp bringing out the Battle Mercy, seeing if she can get a kill.
No, they do not get on the point. Oh, Prime is just now contesting the point. Did they see it? No, gets headshotted by Juka. And the point goes once again to making plays. That is 2-0.
In making plays favor. And like I was saying, it really came down to Blue in that backline, just really harassing Pantheon's healers. Once Insanity had popped Valk, Blue was just on him like glue. Wasn't letting him really go straight around, fly comfortably. And Insanity went for the res, picked up Quixotic, but the second that res went off, it left Insanity sort of out in the open and unable to really do anything about it. Knocked Insanity out of the fight. Already Pantheon's down a healer while the rest of their team is sort of contesting, making plays, pushing on the point. And then that left Quixotic all by themselves to really contest blue on the Moira. And then once really all blue had to do was just keep not nailing damage out with those the D.Va's main fire and using her micro missiles, really knocked just Quixotic out of the fight. Left Pantheon without their supports and really making plays. All they had to do was just keep pushing through, using their ults in the time that they needed to. They seem to be on better timing than Pantheon with their ults, and they definitely are on communicating better than they were first point Lijiang, where they really kind of just threw all their ults in at once, not really calling out who they're going to focus on, what they're going to be, what their ults are going to be used for. They kind of just throwing them all at one point. On Route 66, we saw them really using them at perfect times. Juka throwing down the turbocharger in a high position that was really able to have line of sight on the entirety of his team. Really just gave making plays the space they needed to. I swear I'll never get tired of using this, of making the plays that they needed to win that round. So, as we take in the two maps that we've looked at already, we've got a little bit of data that we've been able to look at on Pantheon side. What they're really going to need to do is counter, not only the aggressive main tank that we've seen Juka pop out, but they also need to really sort of communicate better with where they're positioning and where they're focusing. On the second point of Route 66, we saw Pantheon try to push the high ground on the left side just after making plays had grabbed the point, but then they sort of had to run back because they didn't have the support they needed. We saw Prime in position ready on the high ground just next to the saloon, but we didn't really see anyone else with him as the rest of the team was kind of scrambling to get together. Didn't really see much of that on Lijiang. They were pushing together, so we know that they are able to communicate better and push all at once. We really just need to they really just need to make sure that they're working around their entire team together. Insanity, is insanely good on that Mercy, and doing a really good job of keeping their entire team alive, as well as working well with Stin on that Pharah. Making plays isn't really worrying too much about that, and that is actually working against Pantheon in my opinion, because if Stin can't get set up with that barrage, making plays really doesn't have to do much other than poke Stin, get him as far away from making plays as healers as they possibly can, and then keep going right up against Pantheon's main line, because in my opinion making plays is being a lot more aggressive than Pantheon is. So it's really going to come down to if Pantheon can either hold their defense more or push back on making plays. And especially on Kings Row, a fan favorite, tried and true, a map that definitely does reward but also can hinder being overly aggressive. If you push too far up right after you capture the point, it's gonna come down to how well the defense is set up. If we see Pantheon being sort of a little more passive than they have been, it'll give them the ability to be, a lot more communicated, a lot more condensed, because that is really working in Pantheon's favor. Because as long as they're all together, give the healers a bigger, more of an opportunity to heal the Stin on the far if he continues to stay with that. Because making plays is definitely working well around being condensed. Bob on the whether he's
Bastion
on
right now.
Ooh, definitely a smart pick on first point. Kings Row. We do see it is a little too early to call comps. First 20 seconds is always the most chaotic in my opinion.
They're gonna be cooking the casters real nice and cool like that.
Oh yeah, nothing makes a player smile more than hearing a caster confused why you picked Bastion. But sort of seeing similar comps that we've seen them run, it's really going to come down to Pantheon being a little more passive with their pushes and being more contrived with their communication. We're only seeing them run one tank, which
I think the ideology with that is if they can damage and kill them faster, then the tank is safe.
Yeah, I can see that, but it's sort of it's going to be an interesting first few pushes for Pantheon, because with that Reinhardt shield, there's not you're running a Hanzo. Very popular pick with a Hanzo is a Zarya. You really Hanzo's greatest dream is to see that 6-man pulled into that grab, especially since we haven't seen much Zarya layly. Definitely, we've only really seen Starlaw on that off tank, but we're seeing already being poked on both sides as Pantheon is pushing through the choke. Again, really split up.
I'm gonna see Bob trying his best to mow them down, but looks like he's not gonna be able to mow them down. No. That is Bob. He's probably just banging his head against the desk right now. He's like, why aren't they dying? Oh, they made it onto the point, and only Blue and Intense Therapist are gonna manage to contest it. Nobody is paying any attention to the point. Never Clutch is actually good. Is gonna do one tick.
Is this the first Ryan backcap in the history of Overwatch?
Ryan backcap. Let's see this.
Oh,
nope. He gets taken out really quickly.
They were ready for that. Wasn't letting him get that one tick all by himself.
You'd be like, nope, you're Ryan. You're not making it into esports history.
It was a really quick pick from Bob, knocking Quixotic out of the fight. Pantheon with only one healer and really wasn't able to focus much.
We do have to. I think we have to keep an eye on Funkshaz on that Zenyatta. He always does come in with a clutch.
Trans, definitely.
Ooh, never Clutch is gonna get frozen and taken out. Then they do find. Does Dio find the Mercy? Mercy does go down to Blue. Looks like Prime is gonna be connecting the headshots and taking out Blue real quick. Down goes Blue, really fast. Also, Bastion also gets taken out, and Mercy. Wow, that is just chaining one kill after another. So finding a headshot on Mercy right there.
That is a healthy
tactical crouch.
That is a healthy kill feed for Pantheon. They're gonna grab the 2 points. We're seeing. Oh wow, we are seeing a. Sorry, having trouble reading names here. We're seeing really not too much ults being used on either side. We're seeing Infrared, and Prime's probably holding on to that.
Oh, Infrared is gonna come out.
Knock on wood,
Starla to find them and toss them into his Dragon Strike.
But again, it's really gonna come down to if they can take Funkshaz out. Pops that trans in response.
Goes to trans in response to hold it off. Prime is actually going to be in the back line. Interesting. Okay, now they're just doing every single ult.
Yeah.
Oh, Blue takes out Quixotic. Tasty pick. Ooh, Starla takes out Bob. Down goes Bob. Old Bob.
Bob with the rocket jump in tank configuration to get to that high ground.
Ooh, we're going to be seeing 3 ults from Pantheon right there, and only 1 ult with Skywave's freeze.
But again, we're seeing Bob switching off of the Bastion onto the Doomfist, definitely, ready to. Oh, Stin!
Stin with the double kill, really pushing it in. Down goes one of their healers was already dead, and to really rub it in their faces, down goes Zen and the Reinhardt.
Protect the payload.
This is gonna give Pantheon the space they need to really push this payload up to this next point, but it's also gonna, with those knocking those kills down all sort of simultaneously. It's giving making plays the ability to group up together and get get a game plan out before they start pushing up. If we do see both snipers on the high ground, Starlet almost has.
Actually, are they gonna connect the shots? Nope, they do not connect the shots. I mean, all the DPS are trying to find the shots, but no, they're just all just getting denied by Juka's big shield.
Oh,
there goes the dragon. Nope, the Blender Dragon doesn't get anyone. Yep, no, people just dodge it. And Bob is like, nope, that was a bad Dragon Strike.
Bad Hanzo. Punishing the hopefully misclick, because that was
I think that was calculated. It's just that as soon as you hear that sound, oh, let me just move to the left or right real quick. Take like 2 steps to the left.
Slowly list to the left.
Yeah.
But again, that's why you want the Zarya to combo with. Ooh, Bob punished for being in the backline of Pantheon.
Actually punished by Starla, getting that revenge kill. Ooh,
they're popping that foul.
Oh, and Hanzo makes it all alive. Never clutch dueling off with the Diva. They're gonna be slowly pushing on. Oh, goes the Earth Fast Shadow. There goes the Diva bomb. Oh, again. Oh, and it manages to find Starla. He's really making the plays right now.
Stin pressuring that trans out of Funk Shaz. Really used that to keep himself alive. There wasn't too much critical on the side of making plays, but we see them pushing up pretty far past the point. Just a minute and 20 seconds left. Pantheon has ult advantage.
They do have a ton of ults. Prime actually switching off. He's gonna be going
free. Definitely an interesting pick. But now we see Never Clutch. Well, the only tank that we're seeing on Pantheon's side is the Diva. We're seeing Valk being popped by Insanity just as this fight starts. Ooh,
Starla gets taken out early. That is one ult and a pro player down. Stin is gonna be getting countered by Blue with his umbrella. Possible zoning ult? Yep. Oh, Bob actually does the old reach around and no, that's Bob. Takes out Zenyatta right there. Never clutch. Yep. Nope. He's never gonna clutch that.
Trying to come in clutch, but
no, his name is Never Clutch, so he was never gonna clutch that anytime soon.
One wonders if he ever does clutch. Does he have to change his name to Clutched?
I think that's like what, $15 every time. Oop,
hey,
there goes the zoning ult. Out comes what, both bombs?
Ooh, Stin with the bad placement of the shield.
That takes out, I think that's a main tank and a main healer. Will they be able to clutch it? Ooh, Prime gets taken out. Making plays, defending this real nice.
You know, as much as we like to call Diva ults zoning ults, that really was a well-placed, well-timed ult by Blue.
I'm pretty sure it was calculated. I've seen his plays. It is like a whole ton of math. Can't curse on this channel, you know, just a whole ton of math just going through his head.
It's just, you know, the one little clip from The Hangover with Zach Galifianakis trying to count cards. He has all the numbers flying by his head. That's what I like to imagine with a lot of Diva players when they're trying to figure out where they're going to throw that ult.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
just quick maths.
I even see it in myself. It's just what gets me is those people who just launch it straight, press Q, gets
definitely
my own team. So anyways,
one seems to wonder. Flashbacks aside, you know, as at the moment we are 2-1 in favor of making plays. It's really going to come down to Pantheon if they can hold just shy of that second point on King's Row. If not, this map's going. Not only this map, but this series is going to go to making plays.
They're gonna. Let's see if they live up to their name. Will they make the play to make it a win, or will they just, you know, just not be able to clutch it and have clutch it, never clutch it, and he'll have to change his name.
Yeah,
we're betting on that.
It's been said. Everyone's heard it. Everyone knows now. It is what's going to happen if Never Clutch clutches. He does have to change his name. You heard it here first, folks.
Yep.
I
I love it how he does not know a thing that's happening. Poor dude's gonna have to change his name.
Yeah, unfortunate. But hey, you know, at the cost of $15, you did win the match for your team. So, you know, you can't really put a price on that.
Yeah.
So as the match starts, we're seeing Juka on the
Juka.
Widow.
Widow? I don't think that very lines up with his main right there. They'll be waiting right behind the wall. Juka coming in with the Rhine, nice and hard. Oh, he's gonna get stunned. There goes the Mei wall. They're gonna pick a new way? No, they're gonna leave blue in the dark, actually.
Juka switches
his
that
fist.
Rhine.
Rhine's up his fist. Does not get anyone, actually.
Healthy kill feed for Pantheon, though.
A lot of blues blue got taken out pretty early in that. He was the one who went into the hotel and did not make it out alive.
Never Clutch with the double kill. Pantheon sort of holding them pretty aggressively, but they're going to move back out of that choke as they wait for the rest of their teams to sort of group up. Never Clutch throwing down that shield in a interesting spot, but you know, I never pretend to know what an Orisa is thinking.
I think what Pantheon really has going for them to really confuse and counter a lot of their heroes from making plays is the Junkrat. Prime on that Junkrat. As we see, he already has his Riptire. Down goes the Dragon Strike. Out goes Stin with his just from above. Managed to take out Skywave and Bob. That is one for the highlight reel. Insanity managing to res Stin just in time. Down goes Lucio. Rally is actually gonna go off, keeping the team nice and armored up.
Again, a lot of Pantheon on the left side of that kill feed. Really working well with his defense. Again, like you said, Prime on that Junkrat is definitely making plays through a little bit of a loop. There's just under 2 minutes left for them to really push through this point. We're seeing not much of a comp change on either side, as it seems, you know, they're trying to build the ults, but they're going through Hotel.
Oh, Prime going down. No, he does not go down. Bob actually goes behind just to get the fair. No, he gets taken out. Out goes the freeze. It actually gets destroyed by the freeze. Ooh, there goes the Noodle Dragon.
Danger Noodles coming
Get
out.
anyone?
Bob getting revenge for that.
Ooh, Bob
Knocking down
actually takes out Prime. I think most of the problems have been solved by now. Bob can just have free reign over whoever he wants to punch. Never Clutch. It's actually gonna be staying alive. Bob still actually finding the triple kill. Down goes 3 of them. Still on the point. They only have a minute and a half to get on the point.
Din, my boy, still holding strong on that Pharah. Everyone likes to scoff at one tricks, but hey, if it works, it works. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
You can, Oh, Bob actually going on the Bastion. He's gonna be like, he's not having any of that.
Doomfist isn't working out. But Quixotic firing that rally at the beginning of the fight, giving his team some extra armor to really, you know, buff them up for this fight. And Maywall's going crazy, making plays the time to get set up.
No, Funk Shaz and Juka actually have the ult. Down goes the Lucio, drops the beats by Dre. Managed to get his team onto the point. They started capping it. Bob actually managed to get on the point. Is he gonna be able to take out Stin? He takes out Blue, managed to take out Prime, and Bob takes out Stin. Starla only finds the kill on Bob, but the rest of the team seems like they're pretty cleaning up quite nicely. Ooh, Never Clutch. He's gonna get on the point. No, he dies. Down goes. Well, Blue managed to win this 1v1 with Starla. It all comes down to this. Who will win?
Diva Hanzo.
Ooh. Diva goes down.
The shield dance in the favor of Hanzo.
Team is coming back. Juka with his shield held up high. Ooh, down goes the Earth Shatter. Down goes takes 2 of them.
Overtime taken away.
We're in the overtime. Now it's here where we see the overtime champions. There goes Stin. He's Sting gets taken out by Blue with a surprise bomb. There's nothing he can really do about it. Out goes the Hanzo ult again. Didn't he just use it? I bet you're all questioning that.
Overtime,
That
taken
zones
away.
them off. Overtime takes it, and victory goes to Pantheon.
What a hold by Pantheon.
This is the turnaround game.
You know, this is the game where Pantheon sweeps.
Yeah.
Knocking on wood right now. But hey, you know, again,
Oh, Clutch is gonna
what amount?
name now.
What the amount of times that Starlight got his dragons on this point, holding it so quickly, holding up against holding Blue on that point was just the upswing of momentum that Pantheon needed, and that's really what Overwatch comes down to, is momentum. Pantheon, you know, sort of haven't been able to get their feet in, dig their heels into the dirt, and push forward, getting past making plays. And making plays has had the momentum for a lot of this series. But it wasn't until Pantheon switched things up a little bit, put Prime on that Junkrat, puts Clutch onto that Orisa, and really gave making plays a little bit of a run for their money, as you know they had Blue on that Bastion once again. But when you have Prime with that, you know, condensed amount of damage that his left click can utilize, knocking that shield down, and really all you know, even if you're unable to do that, just lobbing grenades over that shield, really gave, you know, sort of didn't give Bob that much comfort. He was a little pressured, not only from the Junkrat but from Stin on the Pharah, and you know, really gave making plays the the discomfort and not necessarily working well with their confidence that they had going into these other fights, and it really swung the momentum into Pantheon's favor. And once they held that point, Starla was getting his dragons at the perfect time. Stin, even though he died to that Diva Bomb, he managed to knock Bob right out of his tank configurations right when he popped it. That was such an important pick, and it really, you know, even though he traded you know, himself for that tank configuration, he did manage to get one of a pick with his barrage. So already 2 kills in Stin's favor. He you know, he could have taken that self-destruct from Blue, gave Pantheon again the momentum, the pressure off of them, and you know, pushed forward and kept making plays off the fight. But now we're going on to Volskaya, 2-point CP. Definitely will be an interesting pick if we do see Bob on that Bastion. It definitely can work well on defense. On attack, it can be a little wonky, but you know, they are working well with Skywave on that Mei. Throwing up that ice wall, it not only does it obscure view, you know, because when that wall comes down, you're not exactly sure where that Bastion is going to be. You can see through a Reinhardt shield, you can see through an Orisa shield, but you can't see through that thick wall of ice. And you know, Skywall throwing down that ice wall saves Juka the health for his shields, whether he's running Orisa or Rein. And then once that shield drops, they're not exactly sure what's on the other side of that. And again, it's always Bob on that Bastion. And we see him again running it on defense, only running seeing Orisa Diva on making play side, as it seems Skywave is not exactly here at the moment.
Oh, he DC'd. Wow. Alright. I think Bob has chosen a new main by now. He's gonna be picking Bastion from now on.
Hey, again, if it ain't fixed, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
That is very true. I see Prime sticking with the Junkrat. I think that Junkrat was a real stickler in the mud.
And what's interesting is, you know, Bob plays a lot of Doomfist. He plays a lot of Pharah. He plays a lot of Genji. He likes to flank. And
I think those are all projectile heroes. Not really used to the hit scan.
Well, again, I mean, I'm speaking of, you know, mains that he likes to play a lot. He likes to, you know, very aware of the map and is, you know, aware of spots.
Indulges in the Bastion. That's his secret indulgence right there. Don't worry, Bob. Your secret's safe with us.
We're seeing Pantheon already pushing through onto the right side, going into that office building, going up the stairs all the way around.
As a wise man once said, I think this was his name, Obi-Wan, they have the high ground now. You can't win. You can't win.
That's it. You have the high ground. That's game. Making plays should just give up now. Oh,
Ooh.
what?
Prime and Quintox healer and a very prime DPS gets taken out. Intense their Monster Res Bob. Insanity gets taken out. That's a healer down. Good job on it, Blue.
Both healers down on Pantheon side.
Next Blue. That is some value right there, but most of the Pantheon's team isn't there to take that value.
It's really only Never Clutch left alone without his team. He's gonna be staggered here. Frozen, discorded.
Frozen and killed. Whap whap. Ooh.
It's really unfortunate because now they're...
Blue goes down, but he gets res. Nice toasty res. Goes back in his mech, all nice and easy. Ana attempted to sleep, but she did not land the sleep dart. There goes the Valk. There's really nothing much going on right now, so...
Beginning to wonder if they, the pick on Ana was...
There goes the Hanzo. Strike. Doesn't get anyone, because, you know, I think everybody saw that. And down goes both Starla and Quintox. That's really gonna stop the push. Stop him from pushing at all. Ooh, Never Clutch is actually behind him.
Again, you know, the flanking Reinhardt, it's in the meta. Right next to a ground Pharah. You really want to be careful that that main tank isn't sneaking around you.
Oh, Pharah goes down. Never Clutch actually charges. What's gonna happen? He makes it onto the point, but gets greeted by the Omnic duo. Ooh, Intense Derp gets taken out by Starla out of nowhere. That was that was calculated by Starla.
You know, as Hanzo used to say, rest in peace, Scatter Arrow. Simple geometry.
Oh yes. Quintox gets frozen and taken out. Ooh, that is gonna stop the push once again. Ooh, they just get res. At the cost of a res. Guess Nano going on the Ever. Ooh, they do manage to get Earth Shattered, but that is not gonna be happening. As Zenyatta comes in with the ult, they have ults ready. Prime, he only took out one person of the Making Plays team.
But again, it's that Zen.
And the rest of Making Plays team does a nice cleanup with 2 headshots on the Mercy and the Junkrat.
You know, it seems like Making Plays is being a little more conservative with their ult usage here. They're really only responding to Pantheon pushing onto the point and being, you know, they're being quixotic off of the Ana. Sort of a smart choice. That damage that you're missing out with those Discord orbs is definitely important with Stin on that Pharah.
Ooh, out goes the Hanzo ult, but still once again gets no one. Ooh, Stin finds the Bastion, but and also the duo. That's 2 of them down. I think the team will the point will go in favor of Team Pantheon. We're seeing they're just trading kills right now. Blue managed to take out 2 players. They're Baby Diva and Stin on that Pharah. 3v2. Who will win with the make? Yeah, no.
Sanity popping out though.
Oh, he's just gonna be flying around like a little bird.
Bob with the force modem double kill.
Ooh, down goes Insanity. There's no main healer for you. There goes Mercy's dead bird body on the point. Never clutch. Is he gonna clutch it? Nope, he's never gonna clutch that. Not today.
He's gotta live up to the name.
Pantheon team is slowly making their way onto the point. Stin actually on the Tracer. Ooh.
Quixotic jumping off to save himself.
I think the Tracer pressed the recall and recalled off moment. And we're right now 0-0. I think if I'm correct, if Making Plays wins this, I'm pretty sure that's the end.
That's the series. Yep. All they really need to do is get a tick on the point.
I think they just have to touch it, no?
Nope. They just need a tick.
Oh, one tick.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, a very close push from Pantheon. Prime, even though he got knocked out, he got a kill. Love to see Junkrat players getting a kill with that martyrdom. When they die, they drop that handful of grenades.
It's all very calculated. Junkrats, they calculate every single move.
It's not something you think about a lot of times. Junkrat players being calculated in their placements of things. Speaking, totally not speaking from personal experience.
Every time they see a wall, a lot of geometry and trigonometry goes through their mind. Like, if they hit a bomb this way, it'll land right at the face of a Mercy. It's
like you've seen billiards, you've seen pool. Now imagine it in 4 dimensions, and that's what every Junkrat player sees whenever they get onto a field. But like I was saying, Prime getting that double kill, really upswing that momentum into Pantheon's side. But the second that Never Clutch was knocked out of his mech, and it was really only Baby Diva, Never Clutch, and Quixotic on the Lucio. It was really time was scanning. Yeah, right.
I think Prime was on the Tracer at the very last moment. Trying to clutch it, but he didn't. I was pretty sure. I think Bob was on the Tracer as well. He got his ult first. So yeah. We're gonna see making plays actually going right up to the point. Oh, nice and strong. Bob waiting for his most opportune moment. Oh, he punches his way right in. Does the Earth Slam. There goes the Maywall. Very smart. The Ryan is down. It's really gonna. 2 are actually down.
That's gonna force making plays back. Off of the out of the choke. And there's an interesting hold position for Pantheon to be holding. You know, when they, the further up you get, the longer it takes for your players to get back when they are down. So holding choke can be tricky when there's this amount of time left and this little position that they have to hold.
Oh, gets misplayed by their own May. He comes in but gets knocked back.
Another 2
goes down.
Oh, Stin!
Stin once again on that barrage, taking out 2 of them. I think he gets like 2 of them every single time.
It has to be, at least. A very smart player to be playing on that far. Definitely well timed and calculated. Barrages that we've seen being thrown down onto making plays. And again, they're not really doing much to counter that.
Stin. I think they're too focused on just trying to get to the point. The team is split right now. The Reinhardt is doing with the Bridget right there. Bridget does manage to go down.
Oh.
They do manage to make it onto the point. Blue tries to contest the Soldier. Soldier is not doing his job.
Charger on the field.
Blue is still contesting. Oh, he gets demeched, but he does manage to pull off the bomb. Prime with that
double kill on the. I think we should report him for aimbotting, because
aimbot hack.
But again, a strong hold from Pantheon. A minute and 40 on the clock. I
think at some point, team making plays really had it going for them, but as soon as the visor went out, I don't think they didn't have anything to counter that, because Blue was their diva. Diva's the only one who can really eat that.
We're seeing trades on both sides. Really only one person on Pantheon to contest.
Oh, there goes Zarya grab. Only managed to get Funk Shaz. Insanity trying to get some kills. Nope, gets smacked in the face by Juka. That is a win for team making plays. No one will, Pantheon will not be able to get on. Making plays wins it all for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that is
what a series.
And Stin once again with the play of the game. I think he's the MVP here, right here.
definitely for Pantheon, the amount of time, not only the amount of times that he got this barrage, but the amount of usage he got out of it.
Ooh, that was the real game changer right there. But in the end, making plays got on to the point, calculated what they needed to do exactly, and adapted, made the plays, and won.
Came through in the end with the win. Well deserved. They definitely both teams brought their A game, but making plays definitely was capitalizing more on being together as a team, capitalizing on pushes. They were really smart with pulling themselves back after those failed pushes against Pantheon on their defense, trying multiple different routes, left, right, through that choke on Volskaya, and then once they were through, they capitalized on the picks that they made. When they were down, they pulled back and then pushed back forward.
Yep.
All they really needed to do was just get the one tick, and that was it.
I think what making plays really has going for them is that I've noticed that they really know how to adapt.
Definitely.
Oh no,
Definitely.
where's Stin? Let's get some commentary by Stin right there. He's a real MVP right here.
But again, I mean, on making play side, definitely. But on Pantheon side, definitely. But on making play side, that's going to be a toss-up for me. I mean, Bob on that Bastion. Let's talk about that.
Oh, yes, the Bastion.
Working well. Skywave on that Mei. The off-meta pick from, on a Mei. It's such a wonderfully utility-based hero that if you can play well and play aggressively with your tanks and with your other DPSs, it's really a hard counter for teams that aren't super great at countering it. And if we talked about how Pantheon was good at switching up their comps, being adaptive, they never really adapted well to the Mei. They had a lot of ults that they used that were shut down by that left click from Mei. They had a lot of ults that were blocked by that ice wall. Making plays worked really well with that ice wall. Like I was saying earlier, Bob on that Bastion was able to set up and something as small as a sightline that wide, not able to close a choke, able to shut down this one area of a sightline to let your team pass to save your Reinhardt that shield. With the Lucio, you're able to move a lot faster. You're not relying on working to keep your Reinhardt behind you. So I gotta say, my MVP has got to go to Bob on that Bastion as well as that Doomfist. But yeah, I mean, I personally don't really have any more comments about that game. It definitely, was a tight series. It definitely seemed like Pantheon had the momentum on Volskaya. They weren't able to really get any percentage on that point, but they were able to hold making plays right up until the very end, the last few seconds of that map. It really just came down to a lot of more aggression on making play side and a little miscommunication from Pantheon. That first push that went to the far left really left Pantheon sort of scrambling. That Mei wall sort of separated them, but they were able to come back, get set up, defend, push back, and then reset. Making plays, figured out what was being thrown at them, threw out what they needed to focus on who they needed, taking out the healers, taking down taking down Pantheon's main tank, and really just getting the picks they needed, and that's what won them the series. But yeah, I think that'll do it for us on the Overtime Champions. Making plays versus Pantheon, making plays walking away with the 3-1 victory over Pantheon. I have been Bryce T, your color caster. Mud Asian has been your play-by-play. Let's give a quick shout out to Toast and Muffins for hosting the game and Bradley for producing. But yeah, we will see you in the next one. Hope you enjoyed.